region, AM 1230 WJOB. This is 9 a.m. Sports Talk, and I am Jordan Beasley. He is Miguel Flores, and we have a special guest today, but we'll get to that in just a second. Right now, it's about 9:05 a.m. here in the Calumet region, and taking a look at your weather forecast for the next upcoming days. Today is going to be a high of 93, a chance of some thunderstorms, and a 40% chance of precipitation. And for the rest of the week, it doesn't get much better. Tomorrow's going to be a high of 95, a chance of rain. Monday is going to be a high of 97 and a chance of rain. And Tuesday, a high of 95, partly cloudy. And Wednesday, it gets a little bit cooler, only a high of 90 and a chance of some thunderstorms, a 60% chance on Wednesday. Coming up later on tonight, you have the Chicago Force versus the Indianapolis Crash. That begins at 5 o'clock right here in WJOB. And then tomorrow's going to be the NWI Oilmen versus the U.S. military. And that game begins at 8 o'clock as well. But now I think it's in my best interest to introduce our guest. Today we have the starting quarterback for the Lake Central Indians, and that is David Yancey. How you doing this morning?
How you doing, Jordan? Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Now, it's to my understanding, we'll get this out of the way first. It is to my understanding, well, first of all, if you have a question for David, you can give us a call at 219-845-1100. Once again, the number is 219-845-1100. And would you mind giving us the website? Because I just don't know anymore.
Well, I've said it quite a bit. It's www.wjob1230.com. You could check out a live streaming of the show. You could look at Jordan and myself's interview with David. And then you can also access our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube page and check out any upcoming events coming up here at the WJOB studios. Once again, that is www.wjob1230.com.
You know, we're going to get through a variety of topics today, and one of which will be the new playoff system for college football that was just released. We'll give our thoughts on that. But first, you just made a very big announcement for yourself a couple of days ago. You put it on Twitter, actually.
Yes, sir.
Without going into any real specifics, what decision did you make for the next step in your life?
I think first and foremost, education. I love the Purdue education. I'm going for mechanical engineering, and they have a great engineering program. And also for their football team as well, I think they have a really good chance of making it to the Rose Bowl this year, and that's a huge step for Purdue football program, and I think that would be a huge step for me.
You know what? 1 second. We got to take this call, 219-845-1100. Hey, you on the air.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I just want to let you know that the Northwest Indiana Oilmen is playing the United States Military All-Star Team. It's a touring team, combined forces of active duty military personnel to raise funds and awareness for the Wounded Warrior Project. And that game is at 6:10 p.m. tomorrow evening at Oil City Stadium in downtown Whiting, Indiana.
All righty, we appreciate it. Thanks for the call.
Excellent, thank you.
All righty. So you said mechanical engineering, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, in order for you to do anything with mechanical engineering, you have to have pretty solid grades in high school. Can you tell us about your grades in high school?
Oh, yes, sir. I had solid grades. I mean, I think one of my best classes are algebra and math. I excel in math. That's one of my favorite subjects, and that's why I want to major in mechanical engineering.
Now, also you said mechanical engineering was one of the reasons why you chose to go to Purdue. But obviously you're being looked at by quite a number of big-time schools like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Northwestern, Iowa. What else was it about Purdue that, really prompted you to make that decision where you're going to spend your next 4 to 5 years there?
My older three brothers, they attended Purdue University. It's close to home. I love being by my family. They can come to every game, and besides the engineering program, their football team, and I have a lot of friends that go to Purdue, and they're proved for me to go to Purdue, and that's why I chose Purdue so early.
Now, Coach Danny Hope obviously has been at Purdue. What was it about in your meetings with him and in the recruiting process that you took away from it that you really can look at him as your coach for the next 4 years?
I mean, he's a really down-to-earth guy. I can see him as a father figure. I mean, he's a great guy. He's not just a football coach. He seems like a guy that helped me in the classroom, off the football field, on the football field, and he's just a great guy. And that's one of the reasons as well I made my decision.
You know, in comparison to high school football, I'm sure it's vastly different than that of college football, just watching it on TV. What most are you looking forward to when it comes to taking part for a pretty high D1 football team?
Just go out there and be able to say I play D1 football. It's Big Ten football, so I think that would be great, a huge step for my school as well, as long as me, and just be able to go out and play hard on the football field with a whole bunch of fans and be able to get a chance. Not that many people get a chance to play in a huge facility like Rose Stadium, and I think that's a huge honor.
Now, obviously, you were recruited by Purdue as a running back, and that's what Coach Hope probably plans to use you as.
Yes, sir.
Do you prefer to be a running back, or would you rather prefer to maybe be a quarterback in your position that you play now at LC?
Well, I told every recruiting coach that recruited me that I just want to help the team win. And if that's being a wide receiver or a running back or a quarterback, I'll do it. I just want to help the team win. And he said that they're in a huge need of running back, and that's potentially where I should be. I mean, I'm 5'11", 200 pounds, and they wanted me at running back, and I'm up for it.
You know, I've seen your mom out there in our green room is what we call it. And just by you talking about your mom and your 3 older brothers, it seems as though you have a very supportive family. Can you just talk about how important it is to have a supportive family for yourself and where that has gotten you so far in your life?
Oh, man, I love them so much. They've been by me ever since birth, and they're with me with my decision first and foremost. And, you know, they're with me with any decision I make, and they're there for me. I'm 45 minutes away when I go down Purdue, and they can come down and see me anytime they want. They'll probably be down there every day knowing them. But we're just a tight-knit family.
You know, what was, I kind of forgot my question now. I just completely drew a blank. Can you believe that?
Now, you said your parents were supportive on your decision, but you said your 3 brothers were for all 3 of them were Purdue. I'm sure they were they any little persuasion going on that, you know, they kind of wanted you to lean towards Purdue?
You would think, but no, it wasn't really pulling me towards Purdue. They wanted me to make any decision that I wanted to make. They wanted me to feel well because I have to spend 4 years there, and they wanted me to feel at home at any school that I went to, not just Purdue, and it just so happened to be Purdue University.
Now, Purdue wasn't looking at you till, I believe I saw somewhere until the summer, and that's when they really started to recruit you pretty hard. What was it about just that little short stint that, you know, told you that I do want to go to Purdue? Even though it took them a little while to start to get to know you, I'm sure they were gathering all the information on you. What was it in that just quick instant?
You know, I had around 4 or 5 MAC offers. That's lower Division I football. But I went to a Purdue camp, and I already had previous coaches from Big Ten and SEC and Pac-12 all saying that they were going to offer me, but they didn't step out and offer me yet. And I went to Purdue camp, and I did really well there, and they stepped out and made an offer, and I really liked how they stuck out and took a chance on me, and that's why I like Purdue.
No. So, go ahead.
Besides the fact that Purdue is only about 45 minutes away from your house in Cherryville, were there any other factors that led to your decision, besides the fact they heavily recruited you and the fact that you live so close to the campus?
Also, their facilities as well. Their coaching staff is amazing. I fell in love with Coach Jackson. He's the running back coach there. He gets really personal. You know, he coaches you up. He also has fun with it. That also was a huge advantage. And I just think if you go to, I went to a Purdue Notre Dame game last year, and I think that if you just go to a game and just see the atmosphere and all the fans going crazy, it sells itself.
Now, did you have a chance to talk with any of the players that are currently on Purdue and get their thoughts on what their experience has been like over there?
Yes, sir, I did. I actually got to talk to Akeem Shaver. He's a senior running back, the starting running back for this upcoming season. And he was just saying that it's a great school. I mean, it has great support, great alumni. I mean, he really said there's no other place that he'd rather be than Purdue.
You know, you came into pretty much a tailor-made season. We won't go into it, but you were just talking about the running back who's now a senior, and you're going to be a senior in high school. So, you know, if you add it all up, by the time you're going to be a freshman in college, he'll be on his way out, which makes it all that much more possible for you to get some playing time, you know, fairly quickly. So that has to be a way for yourself. But now you know you can't go to Purdue without all the jokes and the cracks because you can't spell Purdue without P-U. I know you've heard all those.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out just how does this process even go? Is it one of those things where when you're getting recruited, they send you, how does that go? Your high school coaches send out a tape of you, and then they send you in return expressing their interest and things of that nature. Can you just give us just a tad bit of how that goes?
First, you make a highlight tape. I want to thank my brother Yancey for making the highlight tape. He actually has a business named Yancey Editing Service, and he makes highlight tapes for any kid around the region: football, baseball, basketball. But you make a highlight tape, you send it off to them. They call back. Your coach sends out highlight tapes as well, and they call back to your coach, ask for information, grades, and everything like that. And they get in contact with you through Facebook or Twitter, and they just give you a call, and if they're interested, they'll offer you a scholarship right off the bat. But either they want you to go to campus to work out, or just wait a little bit longer. And for Purdue case, they wanted me to come to camp, and I went to camp, and that's how I got my scholarship offer.
Well, that sounds like a pretty long process, but eventually you came up to your ultimate decision. Now, is that why, because you said you were talking about how Purdue gave you that offer, and you were waiting for other schools to step up, but is that why you made your decision so early, is because they were the ones that really beat everyone to the punch and made that offer?
Oh yeah, they stepped out on faith and gave me a scholarship offer, and I was waiting for a Big Ten offer. I was waiting for my first BCS offer, and there it was, and I just felt like home when I visited there.
Now, before we take a break here in a second, what does it feel like just to be wanted? Like, what does that do for yourself, your confidence? And, I hate to say it, but we all have them. What does it do for your ego as well? To be wanted, to have, a BCS team look at you and offer you a scholarship.
Oh, man, it feels great. It makes you feel at home. It makes you feel like feeling wanted is just a great feeling, just being there and just know that the coaches want you. They want you to do well for them, and it's just the ultimate feeling.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll finish the discussion, and we'll go into some high school football, which is much more personal. We can get a lot further into. So we'll be right back after these commercial messages here on AM 1230 WJOB.
Zelensky of the Little Calumet River Basin Commission, and you're listening to WJOB 1230.
He is David Yancey, and before we start talking about his upcoming senior season, obviously last season you guys had probably one of the most unexpected seasons for a football team. You guys were 2-8, I believe, in 2010. Not many people were predicting too much out of you guys, and you guys ended up shocking the region and became a powerhouse in a year. And you finished the year 8-2. What was the difference between the two seasons, not only for you guys but for yourself as a quarterback?
First, I think that one of the major reasons was Coach St. Germain. He was a great coach. He actually, we were doing stuff that we never done before, summer workouts and all that, and I think he put in our mind that we can win, and we don't have to be losers. We don't have to be bottom dwellers of the DAC, and he was a huge factor of us winning. And when we just gained that confidence and to know that we could win, and along with the summer workouts and all the hard work that he put us through that we really needed, that's when we started to win.
Now, you really put up some incredible numbers last year. You rushed for 1,345 yards, had 16 touchdowns on the ground, and then threw for 9 touchdowns through the air. What was it about your game that allowed you to be that star player on offense?
I think my offensive line, that's a huge part of football that sometimes get overlooked, and that's probably one of the main reasons that I had so much rushing yards, and I had outstanding players. The defense did well, too, to help out the offense, and I had wide receivers like Dylan Meringue and Jave Johnson and Max Sanchez. They're all great players, and I can name more people if I had the time, but they're all great players that also helped me out as well.
Now, I don't know about this past season because I didn't get to see any games, but I know in years past you played on both sides of the football. I remember you were a quarterback, and what you played in the secondary on defense?
Yes, sir.
Did you do any of that last year? And just how does that take anything out of you playing defense and then have to go right back out there on offense and lead the team down the field?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough, especially playing in DAC. It's a huge conference and some big players out there. So I don't think my coach really wanted to put all that weight on my shoulders playing offense and defense. That's a tough task, but he really wanted to see me on offense, and that's where I like to play.
Now, obviously, you guys had a tough loss last year in the sectionals. It was arguably probably the best first-round matchup of sectionals, and many felt that you two were going to meet in the sectional championship against Maryville. Obviously, that didn't happen due to the draw. It was a tough draw. The I mean, either you or Maryville could have made it down and made a deep run into the tournament before the playoffs started. What did you take away from the loss to Maryville, losing 30-24? After you guys had such a great season, you guys were 8-1 at the time, and then you lose to Maryville. What was it about that loss that you can learn from?
I mean, Maryville was a great team. They had great players. We lost to them twice. They're a great team, but I think the most thing we got out of that game is knowing that we have to finish. We really have to finish every game, just to know that Maryville's a good team, so we have to finish.
You know what, the atmosphere. Let's just talk about that. I've been to a couple of Lake Central basketball and football games. The student section atmosphere is just absolutely crazy. It kind of reminds you a little bit of Munster and Bishop Nose. How does the fans play into and just to the energy and just pushing the team on? What does that do for you to know that you have so many supporters?
I really think that we have one of the number one fans in the region. They're great. They get into the games. It's so many. We have around 4,000 fans in the stadium every game, and I think that's a huge factor of us winning as well, is that they're cheering us on every game.
Now, how did you guys, obviously you had all that success last year, but as each game went on, it seemed that you guys started to get a lot more publicity here in the region because you guys were such a surprise because no one expected you guys to play that well. How did you guys and how did the Coach St. Germain, basically handle that, hearing all the outside noise basically, and how were you guys able to kind of close that out?
It was a great feeling to know that we were actually getting recognized now, but he kept reminding us that we were 2-8 last year, and we have to keep working hard. We were 2-8. We weren't at this level last year, and we just got to keep working hard. And that we want to make a big run in the playoffs, and that's one thing that he's installing us right now is we can't be one and done in the playoffs. We got to take another step out and go farther in the playoffs.
All the talking began, for me, at the beginning of the season, just because I knew how much potential for last year I'm talking about that this Lake Central football team had. And can you just talk a little bit about the first game of the season against your rival, the I can never say
Munster Mustangs.
Munster Mustangs.
Munster's a great team as well. It's been a huge rivalry since I've got to Lake Central, and I just think that they both have a great fan section as well, and they have great Coach Marsh, and it's just we know each other very well. It's a backyard battle, and it's a great game every year.
Now, what can we expect from this Lake Central football team this year? Of course, you were 2-8 a couple years ago. Last year, you had a breakout season where the parts started to fall into place, and you guys really showed just how much of a force you can be in the DAC. And now this year, you lose a couple of pieces. But you still have some stars come back, such as yourself, and you still have Jalen Robinson if he's still going to play football this year. What's the ceiling for this Lake Central football team for 2012?
I think the sky's the limit for us. I think we have a great season. We have Jalen Robinson coming back. He's also a D1 recruit. We have a lot of pieces. Michael Ojace, he's also a college-level recruit. And I think that now we really know that we could win. We're co-DAC champs, and I just think that we have to go out there and do it and also finish.
Now, what are you looking to change from your game from last season, or what are you looking to improve upon to basically even have a better year than you had last season?
I think the little things like pass blocking and carrying out fakes, I think that's one thing that I really need to improve on to improve my game.
Now, obviously, there's a lot of pressure on you with the signing of Purdue, and now more teams are going to target you and basically game plan for you as they head in. How are you going to, look to take that on as a challenge?
I feel like it's an honor that everyone's keen on me. It just makes me want to work out even harder, work out and practice even harder, and when it comes game time, to even play even harder because I know that they're trying to stop me.
Speaking of work hard, what does it do for your motivation that this past season, the Lake Central basketball team, they won sectionals, and then the Lake Central baseball team, they won state? How much motivation does that add to you and to your game and to your teammates to even go further than just co-DAC champions?
It really motivates us. I mean, we look at our basketball team, our baseball team, and we see that if they can do it, we can do it as well.
Now, obviously, looking up at this upcoming season, what are your expectations for yourself heading into the season?
First and foremost, I just want to play hard every game. I just want to give it all my all every game, and if I do that, I think I'll be able to reach my goals. I could go out and pull out statistics like 30 touchdowns or something like that, but I think in the grand scheme of things that just being able to help my team win, that's my goal, and making it to that sectional championship or that state championship.
A few more questions before we take another break. If you have a question, you can give us a call at 219-845-1100. Once again, the number is 219-845-1100. Now, some of your good friends at Lake Central, they're going on to play, at the next level, and so will you. Of course, Glenn Robinson's going up there to play for Michigan basketball. But talk about a football teammate of yours, Ike Spearman. I don't know where he's going to play exactly, but isn't that a D1 school that he's playing at?
Oh yeah, he's playing at Eastern Michigan. It's a great football program. Great football facilities. It's up-and-coming program, and I think that Ike Spearman could have a huge impact on the team for the upcoming years, and I'm very excited for him.
Now, what's more exciting for you? Would it be scoring a touchdown or offense, or leading a team down the field, or would it be hitting somebody on the defensive side?
I think neither. I just think winning. Just seeing my team happy and being able to see all those smiles at the end of the game after we won, after we having a tough battle against a good opponent like Maryville or any other team that we play against. I think that's one of the best feelings that I can have, is just seeing my coaches happy at the end of the game after a win.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now, obviously the schedule has already came out for this upcoming season. What matchup are you looking forward to? I mean, is it Maryville, that team that beat you guys twice last season, or is it Munster that has been that long-time rival? I mean, what game are you looking forward to? I know there's, you really can't say too much, but, obviously every team has a game that they put a circle on and really want to get up for.
Right now, my focus is on Munster. That's our first game. And then after that, it'll be Chicago. After that, it'll be Portage. I mean, we have to take it one game at a time, and every game's an important game for us.
Now, before we take a break, I want to put you on the spot right here. I don't do this very often, but I want you to write down on that sheet of paper that I'm about to hand you. I want you to predict your stats. I know you don't want to, but I'm going to make you do it. Predict your stats. I want touchdowns, yards, and interceptions. And then I want you to sign on the bottom. And I want you to, as you're doing it, just talk about it in the mic, exactly what you're going to put down and exactly how you think you're going to be able to do some of this stuff.
This is tough. I say I want to reach 2,000 yards rushing.
High goals. That's what you always got to do, though. You got to have something to look forward to.
I think we have a great online, and I think I'll be able to do it because they're big, they're fast, and they get down to business. And I think I'll be able to reach 2,000 yards to my offensive line. I'll say I'll be able to reach 1,000 yards, either passing or catching or combined. We have a great junior quarterback that's coming up named Alex Olin, and I think he can get out there. He's also a part of the state championship baseball team, so I think he can get that out there for me as a receiver or me throwing the ball. With all those stats, I think that I might want to reach. I had 26 touchdowns last year, so I'll say 30.
Just combine them, rushing and passing.
Yeah, combined 30 touchdowns. That's what I want to reach, and that's one of my goals. And if I were to play defense, I'll say around 30 tackles of the season. If I were to play defense. And
then last but not least, just give us a number on how many interceptions you want to, well, not that you want to throw, but how many that you will limit yourself to. What's your goal for interceptions?
My goal for interceptions is throw none. I think that's for every quarterback. If they're back there behind the center, is just throw it. Have no mistakes.
All right, do me a favor and sign that for me, and we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the new BCS system, so stay with us. Keep those dials locked to the voice of the region, AM 1230 WJOB. Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to the voice of the region, AM 1230 WJOB. Right now, the time is currently 9:36 a.m. here in the Calumet region. About 25 minutes or so left in the show. Once again, this is 9 a.m. Sports Talk. I am Jordan Beasley, and he is Miguel Flores. And one more time for everybody, can you just talk about
live remote?
Yeah,
we got a live remote coming up here on AM 1230 WJOB, and that will be that's live remote with Pat and and Stu at ProFit at the White Rhino Plaza on Joliet Street. I'm sure there'll be a lot of crazy things going on over there. We got Pat Renwick, Stu from Stu for Lunch, and we also have Gino that will be out there as well, and a couple other people from WJOB. So it should be a good time out there, so you guys should go check it out. Once again, it starts at 10 o'clock. They'll be going all the way to noon, but I'm sure it'll be going past that. If you guys want to check it out, it's on Joliet Street and the White Rhino Plaza.
Now, you mentioned earlier, we got a couple phone calls, 219-815-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing, guys? Pat here.
How you doing?
Hey, we're gearing up for the big remote, man.
And how's it looking outside?
Yeah, it's beautiful weather, you know. It's going to be a little hot today, but I think we're going to beat the heat here. We're just getting some of the video stuff set up. We're actually waiting on the arrival of Michael D. Stewart. I think his limos haven't arrived yet.
He's always late.
Yeah, so we're putting out an ATV, actually. Anybody, Stu, give us a call. Hey, but anyway, no. Michael Sena and Tina Sena from ProFit, they're the ones putting this thing on. Me and Stu are just going to keep some of the pieces together, but there's going to be a assorted cast of zany characters out here, I'm sure. So we'll keep you guys posted, and we might be starting it just a little bit late, going after a little bit, after the 10 o'clock mark, and we'll keep you posted, and you can rock us with some tunes or just entertain us with some more sports talk, man.
Alrighty, we'll see you in about 25 minutes or so.
Alright, get the region pumped up. Come on, we got a live remote today. Michael Sena's ProFit. Let's get this going.
Alrighty.
Alright, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, so question for David. David Yancey. We've been checking them out since Pop Warner, and we noticed these guys that he's playing with now all go through the Lake Central school system. Now, what does he think of that determined factor to help change that football team around? I know they're really good in Pop Warner, and pretty much those kids all go to high school right there at Lake Central. What was the key factor do you think that helped turn that program around?
I think that we knew how to win when we were younger with Coach Arvanitis instilling that in us, and we had good foundation and great fundamentals since we were little kids, and I think that was another reason why we were able to win when we got to high school.
Great.
All right, that's that. All right, thanks for the call. 219-845-1100, 219-845-1100. If you have any more questions, so feel free to go ahead and give us a call right here in the WJOB studio. But you mentioned earlier, you said you're about 5'11", about 200 pounds.
Yes, sir.
What do you bench? I'm gonna take a guess before you tell me. And they always say, I think the rule of thumb is you're supposed to be able to at least bench your weight.
Yes, sir.
So by you being 5'11" and 200 pounds and being built the way you are, standing right in front of me, I'm gonna say that you've maxed out. Your highest maxed out is 275.
Oh, I wish. Around 15 pounds off.
What? Oh, that's 260. That's still pretty darn good.
Yes, sir. I got to get it up, though.
I can't even lift the bar up, so, this guy is lifting 260. Now, obviously, you're working out this summer with Lake Central, and obviously you went to the Purdue summer camp for football. What are you looking to add on muscle-wise to get not only prepared for the senior season, but looking ahead, knowing that you're going to be playing in high-level Big Ten football at D1 with those guys that are just ginormous? What are you looking to add on?
I say for my high school year first, I want to be around 205 as playing weight. But around this time next year, as I go off to Purdue, I want to be around 210, 215 when I step on campus.
Now, do you watch yourself and what you eat? You make sure you eat the right way, eat healthy, and basically getting your mindset set on acting like you are going to be a professional football player.
I do. Sometimes I do, and I think that working out is the major key. And I think going out there and lifting and getting out on the field and working out on your fundamentals is another key factor of putting on weight or losing weight or getting better as a football player.
Now, you told me that you're not much of an NFL fan. You're much more of a college football fan. What's wrong with you? Why?
I mean, I think that's because that's where I'm playing after my senior year. I don't know. I just think college football is just. I mean, I love the fans. I love how the college section, the student section gets into it. I think Saturday morning and Saturday is just fantastic. I like all the teams playing. I like how they all play for something. I like how they all go out and play hard every night because no one can lose a game or that's a chance to be out of the BCS championship. I think that's probably the main reason why I like it so much is that no team wants to lose.
Now, before we get, my last question, before we actually get into, we'll take this call first, 219-845-1100, hey, you're on the air.
What's up, broadcast partner? Wayne Mecca.
How you doing, Wayne?
How you doing, Miguel?
How you doing, Wayne? Before you say another word, Wayne, David, this is Wayne Mecca, probably the biggest Purdue aficionado you will ever meet. So you are already in his good graces.
You got it, baby.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And David, I broadcast with both those guys in the studio with you, and I've seen you play quite a bit. I guess they refer to the LC, so I've seen a lot of LC games, and I've seen you play a lot. And your interview today is one of the, as an interviewee, it's one of the best I've heard on any level. I mean, you're really coming out great, and your humility is outstanding because what the listeners need to know and is really when you're on the field, you're always one of the best players there. I mean, always.
Thank you.
And what I always noticed with you is how you always get your teammates involved, always cheering on your teammates and pushing your teammates and rooting them on. That's super cool, man.
Thank you.
Super
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your support. And I mean, I have to give thanks to my O-line and my team because they're the ones that helped me to become successful.
Well, you're an outstanding player, and hopefully the two guys in there with you right now and I can come down and see you play at the next level. Looking forward. I won't see you this year coming up, but at the next level, that's going to be wonderful.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Wayne. Now, you have to be the first quarterback in history to not publicly, to publicly give a lot of the credit to your offensive line. I mean, quarterbacks are the most egotistical maniacs you ever want to meet. But to give all the credit to your O-line, it says a lot about yourself, about your character, and just about how much they actually mean to you. But we were getting ready to talk about that college football,
The new playoffs that have been developed. What were your thoughts on that when that came out? Because that could very well still be enacted when I believe you'll be a junior. When that rule is enacted. What are your thoughts on that rule?
I really like it. I think I really was pulling for a playoff system. I think that I really think it should be 12 teams, but 14 is great. I think battling out for the championship and not basically be given the chance of being a championship is a great idea.
And you know what? Here's my problem with that. I mean, I think it's light years better than the crappy system that they have now, which I don't know what you want to call that. That's a mess. But to go to a 4-playoff team, it still leaves some question in my mind because then you still have, first it was, you had the top two teams about computers. Then you say, what about teams 3 and 4? But now you have teams 3 and 4, and now you're saying, what about teams 5 and 6? That's why I was in favor of, like you said, at least an 8-playoff team, because once you talk about 9 and 10, then you're really not that deserving. So I think, I think it's still flawed, but I think it's better.
It's a step at least.
It's a step in the right direction.
And even though they've come on and said that this really isn't a step, this is what it's going to be for, forever, whatever they say.
But I thought maybe that was the opportunity he had because of the height, but I wondered if he had hit a growth spurt or if he was, I know he's probably only 17, maybe 16 and a half, who knows. So I figured he was going to grow a little bit more. Well, great luck at Purdue. We're all big Purdue fans up here, so
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. Now, he brings up a very interesting point, so we're going to sidetrack the BCS playoff system and move to this topic for a second. He was talking about how short Drew Brees is. And Drew Brees can't be nothing much more than 6'1", 6 feet, 6'1". How does that make you feel when you hear, I don't know if you've heard it, but when you're analysts or you may hear some coaches say they like long, tall, 6'3" to 6'5", somewhere in that size range quarterbacks, as opposed to a quarterback like yourself or, a Drew Brees who's 6 feet, 6'1", and can still somehow get the job done.
I know Drew Brees, but Drew Brees and I
with Purdue as well.
Yeah, right. Take that on as a challenge. I think. I don't think it's about the height or the size. I mean, it's some 6'8" quarterbacks that can't really throw. That's nowhere near as good as Drew Brees. I think it's come from your heart and your mind. That's two strongest parts of your body, and if you have those right, that you can do anything you want. And I think that's if you look at how Drew Brees played, that shows that he has a lot of heart and he has mental toughness, and that's a great. You have to have that as a starting quarterback, and I think that shows from Drew Brees.
But now I have to play devil's advocate. Now, by you being the size that you are, which is it's taller than me because I'm just a midget, but by you only being 5'11", what problems or what challenges does that present? You know, sitting back there in the pocket trying to see over your linemen who are 6'2", 200 pounds. How hard is that exactly?
It can get pretty hard. I mean, yeah, you might not be able to see sometimes, but I mean, some 6'5", 6'3", 6'4" quarterbacks probably have the same problem. I just think most you have to just get on your toes and try to see over the defender or move around, but it's not that big of a problem like everyone makes it seem like, but that's probably mainly the biggest problem.
Now, before we let you go, David, I gotta know this. I know you say you don't really follow NFL, but is there a team out there that you do keep your eye on and that you do root for?
I'll say my two favorite teams have to be the Bears and the Colts. I mean, I live in the area. Cool. I live in the area. Bears and Colts.
I mean, my heart was racing a little bit because we have another intern, a news intern, Dez, who is basically the whatever me and Jordan are. If we're Bears fans, he's a Packers fan. For Bulls fans, he's a Heat fan. So, I mean, it's good that you do follow Bears, Colts. Andrew Luck, what are your thoughts on him? I know you probably watch him in college at Stanford. Is there a player out there? I know I mentioned Andrew Luck, Drew Brees. Is there a player out there that you try to model yourself after?
Not really. I think that I want to establish my own game and be able to go out. I mean, I do watch and I take a lot of stuff from the pros and a lot of college players. I try to learn from them, but no, I do not try to model myself after any player.
You know what? It's 9:51. We might as well keep you for the last 10 minutes, but here's going back just to backtrack a little bit back to the BCS playoff system as it is currently constructed now. Here's my thing with that. They take so much of your strength and schedule as to why or why not you make it to the BCS or even for consideration for the BCS championship game. I find it to be totally unfair because, for one, you don't make the schedule. As a team, you don't decide who you pick to play. And so because you don't have as tough a competition as, say, this school over here, you automatically lose. And you know, my other problem with that is going back to the strength of schedule. If this team is, 15-1, but you're 16-0, but their strength of schedule is tougher than yours, then you're automatically penalized. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't really think it's right. I mean, you got to play who your next opponent is, but I think that's how it's set, and you got to go with it. I mean, it kind of sucks for like the lower schools, lower Sun Belt teams, because we all know of those in basketball, those Cinderella teams, and we wish we could have it for football. But I think that's how the system goes, and we all got to play with it.
But that's what makes it so good about college basketball. There's 64 teams now, and there's always going to be one or two playoff Cinderellas, but in football and college football, there is no chance for Cinderellas because if you are a smaller school and you have 16-0 or 15 however many games they play, then you're automatically being penalized because I can guarantee your strength of schedule will be as big as an Alabama or an Auburn.
And I don't think you'll have that problem though playing in the Big Ten Conference. Obviously, probably that and the SEC are the two big conferences in college football. What are you looking forward to in playing in the Big Ten Conference? Obviously, a lot of history in that conference.
I'm really looking for how my role models are going to be my competition now. I think that would be one thing, just lining up for across from Monty Teo, he's a linebacker from Notre Dame, or playing against some football players from Ohio State or Michigan. That'd be a huge step. I mean, who want more than to play against them or with them for Purdue?
Before we take our final break, we'll take this phone call, 219-845-1100. Hey, you on the air.
Yeah, David, I've seen your father. He's a pretty big gentleman. Who would you say you got your toughness from? Is it your brother or is it your father? Who would you say you got your toughness from?
I think all my family members in general, they all have something that I take from them. All my brothers are tough. They're mentally tough. So is my mom, my father. I also get mental toughness from my grandmother as well and my grandparents. So I think I get a little bit from all of them.
Okay, great. Now when you're going to Purdue, David, Coach Hope, is he looking for you to play 25-time carry back, or are you going to do a scat back type of deal, or are you going to kind of throw you around and see where you kind of sit offensively, defensively, and then kind of, sit you in there that way?
I'm not really sure, but I talked to Coach Maurice Jackson. He's a great coach. I talked to him last night, and he said that he wants me as every down back. He can see me as an every down back, and that's what I know as right now. And they said that I have a great chance of playing as a true freshman, and that's all I know as for right now.
All right, thanks for the call. Thank you. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to have the closing remarks. So keep your dials locked to the voice of the region, AM 1230, WJOB.
I shouldn't even have to tell you, but it's my job too. This is the voice of the region, AM 1230, WJOB. Right now, the time is currently 9:56 a.m. here in the Calumet region. We got about 3 minutes or so left here in the show. If you want one last phone call, if you want to ask one last question, you can feel free to give us a call at 219-845-1100.
Also, I just want to mention that we have some tickets for the Northwest Indiana Oilman game tomorrow against the U.S. Military All-Stars. It should be a fun time. Game's at 6:10, and that will be at the Oil Stadium in Whiting. So if you guys are interested, we have several tickets here at the WJOB studio. So feel free to call. I believe it is our office line is 844-1230. Once again, that is 844-1230. So call in. We will take down your name, and you can come pick up those tickets anytime you would like. Once again, that game's tomorrow night. And that game could also be heard right here on WJOB1230.com.
Well, you know what? We got about 2 minutes left. I'm sure you're absolutely excited first because you seem to be the type of guy that worries about the here at this point and then the later as it approaches. So I'm pretty sure you're excited about your senior year. It's very special.
Oh, yes.
It's even more special when you don't play at the next level, but you're playing at the next level. So I'm pretty sure this is not the last time we will hear from you, most definitely. But any last remarks that you have for any of your family, any of your fans, the Lake Central family? I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys are listening as well.
I always say that a lot of people think that players that are going to Division I, they'll really give their all their senior year, but I want everyone to know out there that I'm going to give 110% my senior year, and we're going to try to make that big run of the playoffs as far as we can as a team.
And I hope you enjoyed being on the show this morning.
I really did.
I mean, yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you on, and I remember from the first time, I really didn't know too much about you, but I went working with the station. My first game doing it was Munster LC. I was with Jordan Beasley and Wayne Mecca. We were doing pregame and halftime, and from the very first quarter, we were saying to ourselves, who is that guy with a quarterback for LC? You're like, this guy looks like a pro football player already.
Thank you.
And I just send our best wishes out there, and hopefully you not only carry your LC team pretty far, but hopefully you do well at Purdue. And I'm sure we'll have you on as when you get ready to go to Purdue.
Yes, sir. I'll be making my way back, and I just want to say, Jordan and Miguel, thank you for having me on. This is a great show.
Not a problem. That's the preview for next week's show. I'm pretty sure we're going to get more into Jeff T, the Bulls' first round draft pick. So we don't want to start now and then give you a cliffhanger.
We'll talk about Jeff T, all the Cubs, Sox, All-Stars, who was snubbed. Well, if there's any. I mean, honestly, let's be real here. And we'll also talk about Matt Forte's contract situation as well, and the Bears starting to get ready for training camp.
They're starting to get ready for their Super Bowl run. That's what that is. All right, that does it for the show. See you guys next week. For David Yancey, from Miguel Flores, I am Jordan Beasley saying so long. So keep those dials locked to the voice of the region, AM 1230, WJOB.